3, 2, 1, go. Hello, welcome. Thanks for joining us under the library. This is our homebrew Call of Cthulhu actual play podcast. This is part 2 of a 2-part episode. We're recording both in one night because we are not going to be able to record a show the week that you hear this. It's going to be delayed for a week. If you would like to support the show, you can do so in 2 ways. You can go to DriveThruRPG and check out The Snake's Oil. That is our module set in our Season 1 universe with characters, NPCs, and player characters from that season. You can also support us on patreon.com/underthelibrary. My name's Arthur. I am playing Franny. I am joined by Wayne as Rutherford, Rick as Bello, Scott as Cully, Chris as Boone, Emily as Joe, and as always, I am joined by our incredible keeper and the person who wrote this module that we are playing now, or this universe that we're playing in now. That's Michael. Michael, the show is all yours.
I'm not sure I even want to take responsibility for having written what we're in right now, but yeah, thank you for joining us. Under the Library is a tabletop RPG set in the Call of Cthulhu universe. We feature mature themes played by immature people, most of which are right around me at this moment. For tonight's disclaimer, I thought we'd do a little Mad Lib. Yes. So y'all can join in here. I need a body part. Oh, ear. No, blank faces. Oh. Okay, an ear. Wonderful. Thank you, Joe. An adjective.
A fapping.
That's a descriptive word for you. What's that?
Hairy.
Oh, I mixed up verb and adjective. I'm going to mute myself again.
Hairy.
This is going great.
The adjective is fappy.
Moldy.
And I need a famous person's name.
Sean.
Teddy Roosevelt.
Come on, a famous person.
Teddy
Sean
Roosevelt.
Connery.
Oh boy.
Oh, all right, that's better.
Teddy Roosevelt. All right. So our disclaimer for tonight is if you're not offended by my ear was trembling with Harry when I discovered the desecrated corpse of Teddy Roosevelt, you're in the right place. Doesn't probably quite go to the level that we need, but you know, it gets in the right area.
Horrible things happen.
Now,
horrible things happen. If you're okay with horrible things, keep listening.
that was far more G-rated than I expected.
I'm just impressed that the body part was ear and not
I had to
penis.
jump in because obviously.
How-
Yes.
Every
Yes.
every Mad Libs game ever, the body part is penis.
Well, I wanted us to be different from every other week.
Well, thank y'all for saving the disclaimer, and now you get an idea of what our show's about. So with that, I'll turn it over to Emily, who can give last week's recap. Thank you, Penis. I mean Scott.
that you got to roll sanity.
All right. Oh, I thought we were rolling sanity for Dick.
Are we doing dick jokes again?
No. Emily, go. Last week's recap. Go.
Yes, sir. Okay. Cully takes Rutherford to the dark room in the basement. And on his way down, Rutherford sees
Did you say dark room or dark room? Those are 2 very different things. There was a little pause between dark and room, and that makes it sound very different.
Dark room.
Place where photographs are developed. Dark room.
Cully takes Rutherford to the basement in the hopes he can develop the photograph. I got it. And on the way down to the basement where he's going to develop the photograph.
Oh my God. Wow.
In all seriousness, Rutherford sees a picture of young Richard excitedly arriving at university, and it takes him back. He feels emotional, and Cully sees him looking at the picture and shares that Richard put that picture up to inspire him. That someday he could go to university too, and they have a moment together, and Rutherford feels for Cully, and then he sees another picture of Richard and Cully together in town, and he actually says to Cully that he wants to help him get to college. It was a nice moment between the two of them. Cully doubts he can afford it, but Rutherford offers to help with that as well, to make him connections. And Cully's face shows signs of hope. So Cully waits outside while Rutherford goes into the darkroom and looks at the camera. The film inside is larger than expected, and he can tell it was hand cut, not commercial. He's torn because he was really close to Richard, and this would have been right in his wheelhouse. So it's very strange that Richard never mentioned it. He never mentioned the camera, the other house, the things hidden on the paintings. Rutherford's starting to feel kind of conflicted about their relationship. Now upstairs, Franny has entered with her clue, her chunk of brain tissue with filaments, and she wants to examine it. She knows there's a small lab she could use off hours at the facility, but currently it's in use by a rather difficult colleague, and she's not sure she could use it if this colleague is around, but she and Bello decide to drive by, see if she can get into her main lab, to this auxiliary lab. If not, perhaps visit Dr. Gardiner, the vet, and Bello could ask for some medical care, more medical care as a distraction, while Franny uses her lab. Franny is not entirely thrilled to take this trip with Bello.
Understatement.
Just summarizing. That's my job. So during this discussion, Jo is still upstairs, and she realizes she still doesn't know how Bello got his injuries. He showed up back at the Chicken Mobile with his ear gone, with his arm broken, with all of these abrasions, and so she asks. And then when she gets the feeling that he's evading, she asks some more and continues to dig politely. Now, Franny really hones in on the part of Bello's story where he mentions the building exploding, where the fire then turns into this great conflagration. And she digs for more information, realizes that maybe an oxygen tank exploded, maybe in the surgical center. Jo continues to grill the chicken man, and Franny picks up on her suspicions and his omissions, and supports Jo. Bello, we know Bello is lying because we were there as players and saw him punch Paula Bradford in the throat, but he said she was trampled and died. He stresses the severity of the fire, tries to shift the attention, asks Jo what happened. She avoids the question. As we left this conversation with Bello saying that was practically everything. And then we realize that Rutherford is able to see a face in the film. And that is where we closed this evening's previous session.
Oh, right. This.
That's you.
All right.
Sorry, trying to reconfigure things with Wayne dropping off for some reason.
Is Wayne coming back?
It seems like he got like he might have lost internet connection.
Yeah, mine's giving me fun times over here as well.
Yep.
Okay, so as we move forward then from that, who wants to? I feel bad that we haven't heard much from you yet, Boone. Are you okay?
Oh no, yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, I don't want to show up until
we can just
these fellows. Okay, people have to sleep at some point. I'll show up once they.
Well, I have an important question though. Does anything happen to Boone before he sleeps on the porch?
Oh, that's totally up to Michael. If he
I know. Technically, at this moment, we've played him and Duke. I'll never forget Duke's name. We've played him and Duke in the barn working on the car. So that's kind of where they're at. He's not even on the.
No, you missed it. You're misremembering. I took off in the car because I knew that the backfires were going to tip off. I opened up the garage door and tore out. And he was like, "Where well, he came out, and as I was going down the road, I turned around and shouted that I loved him."
Oh yeah, no, I remember all that. I'm just saying
in the timeline. In the timeline
in game
of the game.
time.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're trying to figure out. Yeah. But
because that happened around 1-2 a.m. and we're probably still in the 10 p.m. realm back at the house. So that's all I meant by the chronology.
Yeah, so I won't be pulling in until the wee hours.
Okay. Okay.
Well, we don't want to go back to Rutherford yet.
We don't want to distract from the tension of the grilling either.
I'm fine to grill some more chicken. I just don't want to monopolize.
No, I think the grilling needs to be complete. No one wants to.
Are you okay if we grill some chicken until?
There
we go. There's Rutherford.
Looks like we're getting Rutherford back. So why don't you guys close that off, and then Rutherford and I can finish our shtick.
Well, since Rutherford's back, do you want to have a shtick first, just so there's a break?
Sure.
Because we don't know how long it will take to wrap up the grilling.
Yeah, and we might need to give Franny
really
a second
dry, tough
to get
chicken.
things kind of recalibrated here. So,
yep, I got it. I'm good.
Okay. All right, then let's start. Okay, so
false alarm.
For those who are not watching video, Wayne just vanished off camera. He was back for about 30 seconds and then took off.
That's great.
Pretty typical.
I thought he turned into the plaster mask on the back wall, so I'm glad to know that he just moved off camera.
We think.
All right, well then let's find
Bello it is.
Bello. Yeah, painted into a corner. Oh my goodness.
And
all right, we'll
Wayne's
take Bello
back.
painted into a corner for 1,000.
Okay.
And all right. We'll let Wayne get situated while we continue the chicken grilling. So I think we left off. What did you say, Bello, as we left off?
And that's practically everything.
I think that's pretty much everything.
Pretty much everything.
And
all right, I'll leave that to
pretty
Joe
much.
and Franny.
And by pretty much, what bits are not included in that story?
Oh, did I? What did I? That's like I said, that's pretty much everything. Mm-hmm. Yep. Most of it.
Bello,
go ahead, Joe.
We're working together here, I think. I mean, I know this is a strange group, and I haven't had the pleasure of working with too many groups of people that I could really trust.
Yeah.
In my life.
Uh-huh.
And I want to know I can trust you.
Yeah.
If you're going to be doing this with us, if nothing else, for Cully's sake, because I want him to be okay.
Yeah, so do I. That's fair. That's a fair point. There's been a lot of unexpected and traumatizing events. So I suppose, in full disclosure, now that we have at least one body upstairs, so after I proceeded to discuss with this gentleman inside the building, I then snuck around and looked at the director's desks, got all those documents I provided.
Yeah, you did mention that. And those may be very useful to us. I mean, knowing schedules when we can get in and out. And I appreciate that. It's just that you mentioned this woman.
And then I found a gun. And I took it. I took the gun.
Okay. Well, you're not going to use that gun on us.
No, more for protection purposes. It seems like we're getting ourselves mixed up with some trouble.
I mean, a gun could be useful. I can think of some times that I wish I had one. I don't have a problem with that. I'm just worried that you're not telling us the truth.
Well, you see, there was so there was Paul Bradford, and I see her still looking at me now. And
did you say that to me?
No. Did I?
It was in your accent. Just want to know.
No. Let's say I actually did. I said that out loud, and I said I can pretty much see her looking at me now.
Right here,
wait,
right now.
Why?
Whereabouts is she?
Oh, it's just when you see someone pass away in that traumatic fashion, it sort of haunts you. Mm-hmm.
But you didn't really know her. You just met her in the parking lot? Because you didn't have your meeting with her.
Well, we
Bello, what's going on?
Well, we started to have a conversation
in the meeting.
Well, no, he said he didn't go to the meeting.
Yeah,
he said he didn't go to the meeting with Paula, and he's just talking to her in the parking lot, and now he's seeing her. And I'm just asking you, Bello, to tell me why this doesn't make sense.
I don't know why she screamed.
She screamed? What? Why did she scream?
Well, the fire was going on, and I came out and I tried to deduce what was going on, and I did not know what Paula Bradford looked like. And next thing I know, I'm conversing with this lovely person, and I was trying to figure out what was going on, but I didn't want to tip my hand at who I was, not knowing who she was, and I came up with sort of an improvised name and a bit of a distraction, and
that makes sense. You were supposed to be our distraction.
Right. And then she asked some questions, and I may have fibbed a bit just to sort of keep up the ruse.
Sure.
And it turns out she is Paula Bradford, and I did not realize that. And then she realized something was askew, and with the fire conflagrating and propagating, and everyone doing a spit taking, she started to get alarmed and yell for help, and things sort of blacked out for me after that. Yes, it was a bit of a So
when did her coworkers trample her?
And you?
Well, so the screaming is very emotional. It's not something I respond well to. It brings me back to some very 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 bad times, and so she may have been punched.
The crowd punched her while she was on the ground.
Bello, who punched her?
I may have out of a fit. You see, the screaming, the loud noises that tends to brings back some whole bad memories, and there's almost a reflex of the body. So I would just advise anyone not to be yelling, or just yeah.
Can I, out of game, just ask one thing as a reminder? Does Bello know Joe's story? I feel like you weren't around.
I was not. Not.
Okay.
Yeah.
What kind of memories, Bello?
My familial memories of my family and the like. We just had a lot of troubled time growing up.
There was screaming in your house?
Yeah, well, you could say my father he enjoyed a good soak in whiskey, and tended to get we got we own source of income. We were poor chicken farmers, and I tended to care for those chickens, and tried hiding them every once in a while, and anyway, he did not get too pleased with that, and it was a very hard home, and he would start yelling and screaming, and just accidents happen. And one day, we had to stop all that meanness.
And
I know that accidents happen. I've experienced horrible accidents.
And what kind of accident happened with your father?
Well, the accidents where he slipped and fell onto a baseball bat that I may or may not have been holding in self-defense, and when I woke, he was on the ground, and he was dead, and it just sort of sent our family into a bit of a tizzy, and just a lot of reflection, and then we had time to just ourselves and actually be able to sort of grow and prosper, and may or may not have been around that time that deals were made, and things tended to then happen and spiral out of control, and next thing I know, I'm in charge of a chicken magnet empire.
And is that similar to what happened in the parking lot?
Yeah, screaming tends to evoke all those bad memories, and it tends to result in I tend to black out and almost envision myself back in those horrible times of youth, and next time when I wake up, just sometimes somebody else is at the butt end of a bad childhood.
Bello,
You
I just
killed your
want
father.
In so many words.
You know that. I mean, I killed mine.
This is a weirdly bonding moment, just out of character. But this is
No.
this is you.
It's
why and I'll just go over.
It was an accident. It was an accident, but it was my fault.
What happened?
We can retcon the story or whatever. I mean, the story that I told everyone else before. But
do you go into other details about that as well, in terms of the book and the spirit, or the evil?
I tell no more details, fewer details, just because I know that Franny's there and she's already heard it. But essentially, the book, the ritual, the creature.
Oh wow! Okay.
The death.
And
you still have a family, and you feel like maybe you protected your family.
I did. As the oldest brother, I had to protect my youngest and my mother, and just our livelihood and our well-being. And you hit a point sometimes, but sometimes the devil comes out, and you mentioned a creature and some sort of ritual. I have to be honest,
I'm just
Joe,
gonna say, at the moment that you say the devil comes out, Joe probably tears up a little bit, because that's pretty damn close to home.
Yeah. And I'll notice that, and I'll try and Joe, I'll offer you a hug at that point, and I'll say myself, I may have seen or interacted with something similar around that time as well.
To the creature. You mean the creature that killed my parents? The creature from the circle?
There was some sort of entity that contacted me around that time and asked. My father was always demanding about us being successful and doing well for the family, and I wished I could do everything I could to help. And I thought it was a dream, but I signed a contract, some sort of paper, and everything that transpired happened shortly thereafter. Next thing I knew, we were free to grow, and have been successful sort of ever since. But it's sort of always haunted me, and there's been something in the back of my mind that said maybe that I always thought that was a dream or nightmare or a premonition, but maybe it was real. And this scares me a little bit, that you had some sort of similar or parallel or perpendicular experience that just don't make no sense.
It was just like, oh,
Joe, this is far more triggering for you than you expected. I had Joe make a intelligence roll on the side. I thought that it might be cathartic for her to hear Bello having this parallel experience. Instead, you get to make a sand roll. So
yeah,
sorry. She rolled a 95 for her intelligence roll. So
I failed my sand.
All right. So take 5 points of sand damage as you relive your experience of your family perishing.
Yeah, and ironically, that's exactly the comment that I started to make when you had me roll, was going to be describing the creature as like some just black whirlwind of death, is essentially what I was going to say. So I was reliving it.
Yeah, so instead of pushing you further towards understanding and absorbing. It's pushed.
Michael, you muted yourself.
Yeah, no, I think you just broke up for a second.
Yeah,
we just missed the last little bit of what you said.
But the
Yeah,
excellent
my internet's. Yeah, it just moved you in the opposite direction.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So just as a note, I didn't hug you back, not aggressively, but just because I was feeling more frozen and unable to take comfort because of my guilt. And then I am just turning inward and imagining again, reliving the emergence of the creature. And it didn't speak a word. It just rampaged through my home. And then everyone was dead.
Yeah, and I think we need to, while the parallels are striking, I think we need to highlight some of the differences, Joe, is that it seems like you were more of an observer in what happened to you, and it seems like Bello, you had more of an active role in so much as striking some sort of a specific deal with the entity. But I think it is remarkable that both of you had contacts with some sort of being that added so much trauma to your lives. But the paths afterwards seem quite different to me, which I think is striking as well. But I can't help but think that
I drew the lines and I said the words, and
yes,
I brought it into my home.
But I don't think. Did you know what you were doing at the time?
I was just.
Was it something that you wanted to happen?
Well, I was just curious.
Joe, I think
Right.
with those 5 points of sanity damage, you're going to be pretty broken up. Nothing you're going to.
Oh, that's fair.
Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
I think that childish curiosity is quite different, and I'm sure that guilt is. I can't even imagine.
Was not a child. I brought this creature. It killed. I survived. I shouldn't have survived. I should be dead.
I understand.
Like them.
But
right now.
you did not kill them. And I, for one, am glad that you did survive, because I think you've got a lot to add to this world, and you've certainly got a lot to add right now to our little ragtag group.
I can't do this.
It's okay, Joe. It's okay. Yeah. Sometimes there's we can't explain these things, and I can't explain what happened after myself, and you may not have been in complete control.
I can't talk about this. I can't talk about this.
I think that's probably a good idea to have a little bit of space right now.
A place.
Well,
Bello,
you can talk to me, but I won't respond anymore.
Okay. Bello, I do think that we need to iron out some of the details of what happened here earlier today. And while I understand that there was a trigger that happened in that you were somehow not in control of your actions, it does feel like there's still some details missing, and I want to understand how that places us as a group and what that means right now to us attempting to go back to the lab right near where this took place.
Well, yeah, it's a smart point there, Franny. I suppose I don't want to get anyone else in trouble for even a accident of sorts, but effectively there was that occurred, and I think she got knocked unconscious. And right around that time, there was this explosion that happened and stampede. And well, I think while she may have been alive when she went to the ground, I think the stampede may have caused some fatal wounds. And it's possible someone may recognize me from that moment and period of time. So it's a good point. It's a good point.
And I don't know why I feel like it's very important to say that while we are sort of brushing past the fact that you killed a woman and are blaming it on past trauma, that is not okay. But as characters, we are
For sure.
we are brushing past that. I don't want it to. It feels a little icky to me playing that character. So I just want to.
Oh, yeah.
I
Same
want to
here.
point
Well,
out that there is a very big difference between the
Yeah.
characters we're playing
Sure.
and
We have
us
to-
condoning.
But Franny, you're also walking,
Shit,
being
you're
in the
totally-
same room with this individual who you now know is capable of these actions beyond, and so you're walking a line of like, yeah, I don't think you're necessarily passing off or condoning anything, but you're also looking out for like your own personal safety. What that character is now capable of. I think there's a lot more kind of dynamic going
And
on.
you have a
in
kind
that
of
moment.
Absolutely.
And
frozen
and I think we can also
catatonic 16-year-old girl in the corner who maybe
Right.
you're also looking out for her.
A little bit. Yeah.
right. So I think you're finding the right line of like, hey, where you push and where you like kind of hold on this moment. So I think the tone makes sense in there.
Okay.
And in fact, I think we'll take this unless there's something you
Perfect.
want to
No.
drop in here. I think we can cut over to
Perfect.
Rutherford and Cully and
Yeah,
their
we've been
great
taking up a lot
revelation.
of space in this.
This is good. This is fine.
It's pretty compelling for me. So
Yeah, it was great.
All right. So Rutherford, we last left off. You're leaving the dark room, not the dark room, but the dark room, and you have this negative up to the light, and I think you would probably have some sort of exclamation for Cully, or Cully, you might have some questions. I don't know, but y'all take it from
Yeah,
here.
so he said he came out and it was sort of in his hands and it was dripping. I'm going to say, wait, are you done in the dark room?
See what you did there.
Thank you. Are you all done? Did
All
you
right.
get a picture?
And,
Where's the photograph? Where I don't even see a photograph.
So Rutherford's going to stutter through it, and the internet's stuttering too, so it might add to the stuttering. So the Rutherford explains to Cully, says, there's a face, there's a distinct face in this negative. We have something to go with. I just have to enlarge it, and we have a face. Do I recognize the face in the negative at all? Is there anything in it that's familiar?
There's a projector. Can you put it in a projector? I don't know how these things work.
So in terms of the negative, right? As many photos as I've seen in my lifetime through negatives, it's hard to recognize. You'll have to either projection. I'll take projection for 1,000, but
yeah, I think Richard has like one of those old, I don't know what they're called, like the reel-to-reel projector things.
Sure.
Yeah, a film projector.
A magic lantern. I'm sure he has a magic lantern around.
It's still going to project a negative.
So
A Betamax.
Wouldn't it still be negative?
It would still be negative.
Considering Rutherford's mechanical ability and such like that, he would have no problem figuring out a quick system to show the negative on the wall with the projection aspect. So yes, he says, dim the lights, Cully. We'll show this image on the wall and see if anything comes to fruition from it. I have a sense, and so Rutherford has this weird feeling inside that this is really, when you just know there's something there, you got it, and something's going to happen when they see it. So that's his sense.
Okay.
So
I show you where the projector is. Turn down the lights.
Your mechanical sense would tell you, Rutherford, that you would really need to probably turn it into a piece of paper.
Okay, in that case, Cully, I said, then projecting this at this moment is not going to be to our benefit. It says, I'm going right back into the dark room, and I'm going to turn this into a photograph. That won't take very long. And he turns on his heel because this is something to do, and he heads right back in to the dark room.
Okay. And as he's doing that, I'll just yell out, I'm going to go upstairs and get everyone so that they can come down and see the picture. It sounds like it's important.
He says, just make sure no one comes into the room. And
no, I won't let anyone come in. I'll be yelling the whole way. So as soon as he goes in, I'm going to start yelling up the stairs. Guys, we have a picture, and we can't show it on the wall, but we're going to be printing a photo of it, and nobody open the dark room. And I'm just sort of repeating this as I'm going up the stairs.
Okay.
I mean, I think at this point we would run down. Yeah.
It doesn't take long to get this image on paper, and pretty quickly Rutherford, it probably took longer to mix up the chemicals actually than it did to develop the image, and you don't tune it in finally, but you have enough to get this image. And again, you come racing out into Cully's room,
and I've got it. So depending on how long it was, I've grabbed everyone. I went up, Joe, come on, we got to go. And as soon as I see everyone, and I've yelled my message, sort of, we've got a photo. Don't go in the dark room until he comes out. I go sprinting right back downstairs. I don't even wait to see if they're following.
Okay.
I'll say, Joe, are you able to come with us? And I'll reach my hand down.
I'm still non-responsive.
Okay.
So
my eyes are open, but I'm just staring at my memories.
Okay.
So Rutherford is looking at this image, and he doesn't have the dark room door open, and he looks at it, and does he feel that it's something that he needs to reveal to the group that will startle them? Is he startled himself? Is there any recognition?
No, it's quite simply a face with a background, and there's nothing kind of that you can see about it that's necessarily triggering or violent or out of the ordinary. Even it's just a face.
Okay.
Right, so now I'm outside the door, and I'm assuming the door's still closed, and I'm going to yell, Rutherford, I'm here. Bring out the picture. People are going to be coming down.
And he says, one moment, I'm just making sure it's completely okay for it to come out into the light. And then Rutherford looks at it in his very, very studious manner, leans over it and looks at the picture as close as possible, but he's not looking at the image. He's looking at everything in the background and everything to do around the image, not the image itself. Anything, any detail with the clothes, a background, things like that. All the intrinsic quirky things behind the scene. He's blanking out. In his mind, he's blanking out the face and looking at all the other oddities, shadows, anything that could put together some sort of quirky pattern or information.
Hey, make sure you fix it or it'll turn pink.
And put some
do a spot hidden on there. This will kind of serve as your
all right. He's got a pretty good
as well. In terms
oh my god! Let's see what that is.
So this is with one eye in a dark room. Is that right?
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Mr. One Arm in a.
So considering his one eye, his 90 would make that not happen.
Perfect. Thank goodness, because my original kind of idea for this is that the background is pretty plain, except to tell you that it's within. It appears to be within inside a car, right? That behind him is some sort of frame of a window.
Okay. So it's coming together that it was that night pushed into a car, and this was one of the people from the car. Gotcha. Action shot. Okay. So Rutherford comes out of the room and he says, Cully, it's that night. It's the night he was pushed into the car. At least this is the sense that Rutherford gets. And he says, I believe
with your 90, you can say whatever the hell you want.
I believe it's the night he was pushed into the car. And he definitely was not at any bar. It has to be it. He's in a car. I think it was that night, but this is the face. And I show it to Cully. Does this face make anything? Is this familiar to you at all?
So I got to look closely. Do I recognize the face?
So you don't, Cully. The face is badly scarred, right through the forehead, across the nose, and down through the cheek. That's the most notable feature about the man.
Wow.
It's obviously taken at a strange, and it's obviously taken at a strange angle, right? It's not a head-on portrait where he would be noticing the camera. It's more like the camera was held at some sort of awkward angle from down below that probably Richard was trying to sneak this photograph. And the man is heavily bearded, but also balding on top, and has this tremendous scar, which would probably be the most kind of standout artifact that you would notice.
Okay. And then I say, Cully, you have better eyes than mine. In the darkroom, look for any drawers or anything in the walls where Richard may have stored any other photographs like he did in the baseboard with the maps and behind the paintings. I have a curious feeling that maybe be the case. He's hidden some things away that were too sensitive to be.
Is it safe to turn the lights on in there again?
Yes.
I don't want to mess up the dark room.
Yeah, don't let the dark out.
And it's perfectly safe. And I said, Cully, you're the one who found the other item. Please take a look in there. And,
all right, so I'm going to go in, turn the lights on, and just start looking for, other film. I'm going to look for places where it might be hidden. Look under sort of the table to see if there were any hidden spaces under there.
Or hidden
Look
negatives,
in the drawers. Yep, I'm looking for anywhere that he could have stashed. And because I've seen how small this image is, or the negative or whatever is, I'm looking like really closely for things that are that small.
Okay. So what I love about this moment, and Cully, this is no fault of yours, is that as Cully's kind of going through the darkroom, many things in the darkroom would be light sensitive, like the undeveloped paper and those kinds of things. And so you're just pulling them out into light, and everything's blank. Okay. And this is Rutherford's fault. He probably should have given you some sort of explanation of what not to look for. And you're pulling these things out, and so there's kind of photographic paper that's scattered out everywhere, and there's nothing else to find in the room. It's completely empty except for chemicals, undeveloped paper, and dry powders, which would be the chemistry for making other chemicals. It's almost like I've been in a dark room before.
Yep. You forgot about the tanks, though. There'd be tanks and racks for sheet film and rolls for roll film.
All right, so I'll come out and say, Rutherford, there was nothing there. He didn't hide anything else in there. And maybe if he hid more film, I don't know if he'd hide it right where he was going to develop it. He'd hide it somewhere else, right?
So, Cully, think deeply right now. This camera took more. Actually, I look at the camera and I look for use on it. Like, if it's brand new and used only once, or I get a sense it's been used multiple times by looking at how it worked and such like that, and the wear and tear.
So, yeah, as you look over it, it's certainly not a new device by any stretch, but it's a very well-maintained device. And so there's a little bit of lint from inside the jacket lining and those kinds of things, but it's also really well oiled. And so the lint is kind of stuck to the oil on the mechanisms. But it's not, you're looking at it in places and you can see where it's maybe has a dent from where he bumped into something, or, took a small bump, but it's certainly not a new device.
And so I said to Cully, looking at this camera, it's almost impossible that it hasn't taken more than just this one image. There are definitely images somewhere hidden, most likely in this house, or it could be at the other location for camera.
I was going to say, maybe that's what he used the other location for. Maybe when he went there every week, maybe he was bringing photos there.
He was trying to hide that location, and I have a sense that's where the treasure trove of other images will be.
Yeah, and this, we know how hidden
Rutherford, as you're talking about this, and I want to go back. Oh yeah, but as you are talking this out with Cully, given how well you rolled last time, I want to you think back to where this was located in the jacket, and you remember this very oddly placed button that was on the front of the jacket. And it kind of snaps to you that possibly that button was acting as some sort of lens or a way for him to photograph without ever removing the camera from his jacket.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I was going to say, because the camera has a lens, but I was going to say, looking over it, there would have been then some sort of other connection to it. Okay. And then I would say, Cully, there's another connection into this camera for retaining an image. And this is where Rutherford would get really spacey and start looking off and up with his one eye and going, Cully, quickly, you can't do it, but get one of the other people to go get the shirt that Richard was wearing. Be very, very careful with it. Those buttons.
Shirt or jacket?
Jacket. The jacket that he was wearing. The buttons are a part of this camera. We need to get those buttons.
I can't go up there and do that.
Rutherford, as you're staring off, I need you to make a POW roll as well.
Got it. All right.
Yeah.
POW time.
And while he's making the POW roll, Joe, I forgot a really important part as you're talking to Bello that kind of set you off, is that you were rubbing your thumb again and trying to rub that thumb to access the pain to help you stay focused. And at some point you're rubbing your thumb so hard and the pain doesn't come, but you actually break through the first layer of skin there. And right before you kind of have that moment where you had to make the roll in terms of staying with it. So the bottom of your thumb, where it was bruised and painful, is now, it's more than blistered, like the skin's actually broken. Rutherford, how'd you do on your roll?
So Rutherford has a fantastic POW because of his way he thinks.
Oh, yeah.
But I made it by 2 points. So I just got it.
Well, you yes, technically, but not got it enough. So as you're kind of staring off there and talking to Cully, and you do say enough for Cully to go get the jacket, but Cully, you don't hear Cully say, I can't go get that jacket, because as you're staring off, you have a vision of being in the street, but it's a different angle than the one where you saw Richard getting thrown in the car. Mm-hmm. And you have this very clear vision of the guy with the scarred face from Richard's perspective, grabbing him, throwing him in the car, and then looking behind over his shoulder and slamming the door. And it's this very odd experience because you're no longer sure if this is something you're seeing or had seen.
Got you. And then Rutherford would take, because of all the things that have just happened this evening and these other things he's seen while in the bathroom, while around the corpse and such like that, this sense of being pulled into it, there's almost a sense that there's an explanation to it. So Rutherford would be thinking, and even talking out loud at this point, because he lost a lot of sanity even the last time, so he's a little off. And he says to himself, he says, "This photograph, it's material. It's a connection to Richard and his thoughts." And he gets a sense when he's holding it in his hands that this vision happened. It was the photograph that did it.
And you may say that externally, but internally, you're also starting to question your own intuition. And I want to take, because we only have a few minutes left, so I want to cut from this scene. And Boone, we want to move to you, and you're in the car driving up the roads. And let's see, what would be the first major city you would arrive at?
Santa Fe.
Okay, it's Santa Fe. It's around 2:33 in the morning. It's very early in the morning. And you pass by a liquor store and your compulsion to you pull over, and the liquor store is obviously closed, and you get out and you walk to the front door, and it's a big plate glass door, and you're staring inside at the rows of bottles and bottles.
Yep, and I resist. What do I roll?
Pow.
What's that?
Let's see if you have the roll your POW. Let's see if you have the mental fortitude to resist.
Let me see what my POW is. Oh my god, it'd be nice if I had my character sheet open. I kind of figured I wouldn't be doing anything.
I do that all the time.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm breaking up on my end, so I catch you on the end.
20 out of 20. Yes, 20 out of 50.
Right.
So
wow, look
hard
at
success.
you, Boone.
Hard success.
All right.
Yeah, it's very meaningful to me that I not drink.
Yeah, I think you pound not the glass, but the outside wood of the door. You have this kind of great moment of temptation, and you're standing there fighting it. You're angry both at the alcohol, you're angry at yourself, and you're really, however, finding I'm
also angry, and this popped into my head immediately after that episode. Is I'm angry that I offered to bring alcohol to my brother. Remember, I told him that I would bring him something to drink.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I hadn't done that.
Yeah, but you're also trying to keep your word. So now you've kind of furthered that that problematic instance, right, of how you pull through. But you get back into your car, and that you crank it again, and it starts, and you think about Duke and all that he's done to kind of get you to this point. You're also kind of reminiscing about Bello's car, and you're torn, right? You're feeling this moment of like, hey, I'm helping these people and I'm doing this thing, but you're also thinking about those moments with Duke in the barn and what you promised him and that you don't want to deliver it. And as you get back onto the road, right, your headlights kind of those, I can only imagine how good those 1940s headlights were, right? But dimly cutting through
especially
the road.
Yeah. Oh, I never sent you guys I sent you the photo of the vehicle. You other guys haven't seen it.
You saw the red one?
No, it's not that one.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's got like Duke would have fixed it, but like one headlight's hanging down.
Nice.
Yeah, because he specifically asked for some of those parts when he was fixing it. So
and it's go ahead.
Yeah, no, but you're cutting through the roads at night and really like kind of battling waves of emotion. I don't know what Boone would do. Would he cry or? But I think that's where we want to end, is with kind of Boone carving through these roads late at night.
Torn between wanting to go back and get his brother, take the doodle bug and just set off with his brother and, see where fate leads him. But I've made promises. I feel like I need to provide an explanation, at least, for what happened to the chicken mobile. Otherwise, I would be just some criminal who stole a car and destroyed it. So, yeah, I'm torn.
All right. Do we need to roll on going back to get Duke, or are you pretty confident in your character?
I'm gonna role play that going forward.
Okay. Well, all right.
And
then
I think my characters have a habit of hopping in cars and just taking off.
I'm done. Time to go.
All right. Then I think on that note, then we will close out for the evening.
All right. So with that, we will wrap it up. I do want to acknowledge and apologize for our internet connections. It seems that all of us are having some weirdness with our internet, at least those of us who are in the same city. Mine's janky. I know Wayne's is, and I know that Michael's is. Oh, and Scott's is as well. So there's got to be something going on in the area.
Oh, I guess
here.
it's fine down in Canada.
Right, and apparently it's fine in the DC metro area too, but it is definitely not fine here. So thank you for putting up with that, and thank you for joining us. Please visit us online at underthelibrary.com. And until next time, for me, for Michael, for Emily, Scott, Wayne, Rick, and Chris, thanks very much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.